Plateau community expresses fear over impending flood as disaster kills 5 in Adamawa. Troops neutralize 39 terrorists, arrest 157 others, rescue 109 kidnapped hostages. Rwanda retires 12 generals. Cameroon reshuffles defense ministry after Gabon coup. Away from Nigeria, 73 dead after fire engulfs building in South Africa. Hello and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for joining. Residents of Tudun Osi, a flood-prone community of Jos North local government area of Plateau State, are expressing worry over the expected flood that may affect the area after Cameroon released water from its Lagdo Dam. The federal government had predicted that 11 states will be affected by flood arising from release of water from the dam within the next 7 days. Ado Musa reports.
In Plateau State, about 4 local government areas including Jos North, Shandam, Lantan North and Lantan South are flood-prone areas, and communities in these areas are often affected by the flood during rainy season. Residents of Tudun Osi in Jos North local government area say they are worried about the expected flood, adding that last year they were devastated by the flood disaster.
There is no place people will go. Had it been people has an alternative, they will leave the place. But you know how people are suffering in Nigeria, what they will eat. That is why people build their houses here before the river bank.
My worry is that some of the days that flooding coming in our community, our parents are going out to go and find the food or the shelter that we are eating.
Actually, we have been facing a very good number of challenges, more especially during rainy season. Without even releasing what these people, our neighboring country, have been saying that they are going to release their own dam to come, the people around the Ribri area that they should bucket.
The executive director of the State Emergency Management Agency speaks on what effort the agency is making to mitigate this year's anticipated flood in the state.
The local governments are where these things really happen. And so we share information with them, and they too in turn, via their other outfits, inform the people on what to do.
The executive director also blames people who build on waterways for the perennial flooding.
We also encourage people not to litter the drainages. One reason why you find flood easily is when the waterways are blocked.
The federal government had directed the state to evacuate or relocate people from the flood-prone areas after receiving information on the release of water from Lagdo Dam in Cameroon. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The Adamawa State Emergency Management Agency has confirmed that no fewer than 5 persons have been swept away by flood in different parts of the state. The Executive Secretary of ATSEMA, Suleiman Mohammed, made the disclosure in an interview in Yola on Thursday. Mohammed said that many homes and business premises in Fufure, Yola South and Mubi South local government areas had also been affected by the flood. He advised residents of riverine communities in the state to be more vigilant following the recent closure of the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon. The agency recently held stakeholders meeting where it urged residents of flood-prone communities to relocate to safer places, he said. Mohammed said that the sensitization campaigns concerning the flood were still ongoing across 21 local government areas of the state. Business owners and passengers at Jabi Motor Park in Abuja have expressed displeasure over circulation of recycled video of demolition at Jabi Motor Park. Trust TV's Kabiru Lawa reports.
Contrary to the impression created in the video, that the new FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, began demolition exercise at the park. Business activities were going on at Jabi Motor Park. Some passengers at the park expressed shock when some friends called them to inquire on the reported demolition.
It's clear that it's going to affect people economically, but I have the belief that the new minister we have will not just out of malice or out of the ordinary demolish this place without making a proper provision or alternative for the people.
Yeah, it's a big lie. Because we that are working here, we know there's nothing like that. But there are some enemies of progress. They want to tarnish our image here. Those are the people that used to say they have demolished Jabi Garage. There's nothing like that. You are living fine, we are working well.
It's actually sad to hear such comments from people about the demolition. This park has been here for a long time. And if even demolition want to take place, they will notify us. No notice has been served and our businesses has been moving on without hitch. Some union members explained that new plaza has been built in the park, and so far no any demolition notice is given to shop owners in the park.
This is Jabi Motor Park, where people are feeling the tremor of apprehension that this place has been demolished. But people said it is rumor because when Trust TV came down here, business and normal activities are moving on. And they also told us that the plaza right there that is being constructed newly is to ameliorate their suffering and also carry the people along. Some also told us that the demolition is not coming anytime soon because the plaza is still new and no government official has come here to give them a notice of demolition. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And on security matters, troops of the armed forces have eliminated 39 terrorists, apprehended 159 others, and rescued 109 hostages in different operations in the last 2 weeks. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, disclosed this on Thursday in Abuja at a bi-weekly news briefing on military operations across the country. He said troops of Operation Hadin K ambushed and arrested Boko Haram ISOP terrorists in Goza and Termoa local government areas of Borno State, Yobe, respectively, in the northeast. He added that in another operation, troops neutralized 11 terrorists, arrested 45 others, and rescued 34 hostages within the period and recovered a large cache of arms and ammunition. Buba said that the air component of the operations acquired and engaged terrorist enclaves at Wulde in Borno, adding that the outcome was being monitored. He said that in the north central region, troops of Operation Safe Haven neutralized 2 gunmen, rescued 3 hostages, and arrested 15 crime suspects during the period. Operation Wild Stroke and the North Central also arrested a member of notorious violent extremist group in Ukum local government area of Benue State, neutralized terrorists and rescued hostages. The defense spokesman said the troops of Operation Hadarin Daji in the northwest neutralized 12 terrorists, arrested 33 others, rescued 40 hostages, and recovered 3 AK-47 rifles, 18 motorcycles, and 3 mobile phones. The Adamawa State Police Command has dismissed a police inspector and a constable for alleged culpable homicide and unlawful use of authority contrary to the Police Act. Police spokesman Suleiman Ngoroje said this in a statement in Yola, explaining that the command carried out administrative investigation and subsequently found the policeman wanting as charged. The command tried Inspector Ahmed Suleiman and Police Constable Mahmoud Muhammad, formerly attached to Dumne Divisional Police Headquarters, in an orderly room trial. The statement said that the command found them guilty as charged and recommended the punishment of dismissal for both defaulters. They are to be charged to court alongside other co-suspects. Police Commissioner Afolabi Babatola warned officers and men of the command to be punctual and shun all offences against discipline. President Bola Tinubu on Thursday met with members of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs behind closed doors at the presidential villa in Abuja. Members of the council were led to the meeting by the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sa'ad Abubakar. Speaking to State House correspondent, Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, who disclosed issues discussed at the meeting, said that President Tinubu urged the Islamic scholars to be at the forefront of fostering national unity and societal integration.
Well, the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs decided it fit to pay a solidarity visit to Mr. President. They came to offer him some advice on the happenings in the country. They've also solicited for his cooperation and to ensure that the unity of Nigeria continues to be maintained. Mr. President, on his own part, has thanked them. He has accepted all the words of advice they've offered him. He has also asked them to continue to engage, to continue to dialogue. And Mr. President has also asked them to be in the forefront of the national reorientation, which is one of the pillars of his administration.
The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, under the leadership of His Eminence the Sultan of Sokoto and the President General, is here to pay a courtesy call on Mr. President, to appreciate him for what he's doing for the nation, and to also advise him as to what the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs feels should be done to make sure that it continues to rule with transparency, with honesty, with equity, to the benefit of all members of this great country of ours.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we'll look at embracing entrepreneurship as a way out of poverty. Details and more after the break. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Here's a look at the top stories. Plateau community expresses fear over impending flood as disaster kills 5 in Adamawa. Troops neutralize 39 terrorists, arrest 157 others. rescue 109 kidnapped hostages. In other news, there have been mixed reactions among Nigerians on the removal of fuel subsidy since its pronouncement by President Bola Tinubu. In this report, Hawa Abubakar gets the reactions of FCT residents months after the removal.
Many Nigerians have reacted differently to the removal of the fuel subsidy since its pronouncement by President Bola Tinubu. Recall that the fuel subsidy was removed in an announcement made by the president in his inaugural address.
The fuel subsidy is gone.
FCT residents, many of whom are still coping with the inconvenience the decision has brought, spoke to Trust TV, explaining how they have been faring.
The subsidy removal has really affected Nigerians as a whole in the area of transportation. As you can see, transportation are really increased, and it's due to the fuel scarcity, due to subsidy. And in other areas of let me say feeding also, it has also affected the way people feed, because let's say as a driver, when you're supposed to be going home with say 5,000 naira or 10,000 naira before, but now because of the fuel subsidy, you are not going home with even 2,000 naira, because you've ended up using all the money you work for the day to buy fuel.
As a salary earner, someone that is working under private sector, that they are paying 30,000 naira, how would the person cope? Calculate it for 30 days. Some people work for 30 days, while some work for 20-something days, 26 days. It has not been funny. It causes the price of food in the market. Everything in Nigeria is just God that we are looking up to. And we are praying that our leaders should hear our cry. It has not been funny. It has not been easy. Everyone has been crying. If God will touch their heart, they should hear the cry of masses.
It's a solution, but coming at the wrong time and being implemented in the wrong way. First of all, we understand that there are a whole lot of racketeering about subsidy. It wasn't actually existing, but it was enriching a very few persons in Nigeria. So if we want to remove it, we'll now look at who are the ones that will be affected by this. They are mostly Nigerian, I call them indigent Nigerians, poor Nigerians, who are larger in population than this individuals who have decided to suffer the masses.
The president a few days ago disbursed 5 billion naira each to the 36 states for the procurement of food items and palliatives to Nigerians. He also released his agenda for Nigeria, carrying 8 critical points ranging from food security to economic growth to security, among others. Nigerians are, however, hopeful that these moves will help ease the pressure in the short, medium, and long term. Hawa Abubakar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Graduates in Benue State have been urged to embrace self-employment through skills acquisition and turn away from an over-reliance on government jobs that are not readily available. This is coming on the heels of Nigeria's endemic battle with unemployment as millions of youths remain unemployed. Jimmy Azande reports.
The methodology used by the National Bureau of Statistics, counting people who work for just an hour in a week, has employment-generated controversy. But that is not what bothers the residents here. They are more concerned about the youths who are graduates of higher institutions waiting for jobs in public service.
I feel and I think it's necessary or it's important for students to have a skill or be self-employed upon graduation, because if you are depending on a white collar job, it's not be funny, and it's not be funny seriously, but I just feel that as a student, just know something, learn a skill, learn a handwork.
To me, looking at the issue of our country, the state of our country this time or nowadays, to me, I think paper qualification is not the best solution to our youth. There are a lot of skills acquisition that our youth can involve, which they can earn more, which can earn them more better. Because if you look around, there are no industries in our country, and we have vibrant young who have graduated from our universities with first class, second class, upper, and they are about roaming on the street. So I encourage that our youth should not just focus on paper qualification.
Some of the unemployed graduates are already facing the consequences of their actions or inactions.
Students are supposed to be self-employed after or upon graduation, because I'm an immediate graduate of Benue State University, Department of English, and as a graduate I've come to face a lot of challenges, and I've come to the realization that life is beyond what we see and everything is not the way it seems. Back then when I was still in the university, I feel that people who are outside there are doing quite well. Some of my course-mates engaged into entrepreneurship. There's one of my guys that was learning furniture, and the other ones indulged into tailoring and some other skills.
They, however, urge the government to provide an enabling environment for the youth to harness their potentials for economic prosperity. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Point of sales operators in Abuja say that they pay taxes to the authorities to operate on the roadside. Trust TV speaks to operators on what it takes to set up the business, the challenges they are faced with operating on the roadside. The report.
Operators of the point of sale business, also known as POS, find it easy to run the business on the roadside, but that comes with a lot of challenges, one of which is constant harassment from tax collectors. It is one business that has made life very easy, as it can be found at convenient roadside corners. For many, it is a source of livelihood.
Majority of people out there, they are after the POS attendants. Reason because they feel these people are making more money, and that are the major risks. Some people will come in disguise to send you fake alerts, and you give them money. Before you realize, it will be gone. And honestly, it has gone a long way to weigh us down. But nevertheless, we're still on the road 24/7 going.
There are, however, certain challenges faced by these operators. The business owners said often officials from environmental protection agencies collect payment, but receipt is not usually issued to them. They said they pay the money to avoid the closure of their business.
Yeah, sure. Like this place, AMAC, we have to, before you start anything here, you have to go to AMAC. They will be the one that will give you the space. So you have to pay a fine, just like registering for them to know that they were the one that gave you this place. And we pay for environmentals. They come every Tuesday and every Friday we pay them, and I think that is the only thing.
The Abuja agreed that if you have a post like this, you pay 5,000. Then there are other expenses, which there are other miscellaneous expenses like 1,000. Tax force will come and collect. For now, these are the expenses.
They expressed willingness to pay tax to the relevant government agency to be allowed to carry out their legitimate business, but call on the government to check the taxation system. Sarah Solomon, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar says African leaders need to focus on the root cause of the recent spike in coups across the continent. Atiku, in a tweet on Thursday while reacting to the recent coup in Gabon, the 7th in Africa since 2020, said that the military takeovers are worrisome, adding that they call for introspection. He, however, said that the coup in Gabon stands condemned. Atiku also said that democracy and democratic governance have come to stay as a preferred form of government, and everything should be done to enthrone, nurture, and sustain it. He said, as suggested in the case of the Niger Republic, the ECOWAS and African Union authorities should open a window of diplomatic engagement that will pave the way for the soldiers to return to the barracks. Meanwhile, the Rwandan Defense Force has retired 12 generals and others in a move to reshuffle the military, while Cameroon's President Paul Biya has made changes to the Central African country's Ministry of Defense. Both moves are coming in the wake of the Gabon coup, the latest in a series of military takeovers in Africa. A Wednesday statement by the RDF said that President Paul Kagame has retired 83 military personnel, including 12 generals. The move take immediate effect. Now, the Rwandan president, who has been in power since 2000, is one of the continent's longest-serving leaders. A 2015 amendment to the country's constitution means that he can stay in power until 2034. Just before RDF's statement, Cameroonian President Paul Biya announced a reshuffling in the Central African country's defense ministry. One of the posts changed was the delegate to the presidency in charge of defense, navy, police and air force staff. The Cameroonian president began his reign in 1982 after a coup, while he later allowed for elections after severe criticisms of oppression and human rights abuses. Biya, 90, has remained president. A fire that engulfed a 5-story building taken over for illegal housing on Thursday killed more than 70 people, including children, in central Johannesburg, the South African city's emergency services said. Another 52 were injured in what is on track to become one of the deadliest fires worldwide in recent years. Bodies were discovered piled up at a security gate that was closed, preventing people escaping the blaze, an official said. City authorities said that the building in a deprived, crime-ridden area had been turned into illegal housing after being abandoned. Most of those living there were foreigners, one resident said. At least 7 children were among those killed by the flames, the youngest under 2 years old, he said. Some were burnt beyond recognition. Firefighters at the scene have put out the flames and are busy with damping down, while search and recovery operations are ongoing. And that's a wrap on the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.